Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Memes of the Week. The best thing you can do for this channel is smash the like button like it's your Alabama cousin, so it reaches a wider audience. And now on with the memes. Number 1 is Javier, the absolute legend, and he finally found the missing part of Apple. But what I want to know is that actually an apple or a peach? I also want to know the origin of the Javier meme. The character was created as a fictional convenience store clerk named Paculo Papito. In 2015, an anonymous user known as Javier started using Pepito's Facebook profile pic to start creating memes. I can't wait to see what Javier comes up with next. Moving on once again, this is why you take women swimming on a first date. The proper place to put a catfish is in the water after all. This one looks 10 years older with no fake-up. If you think she's bad with no makeup, wait until you get to know her. Women claim that men lie too much, yet most women's entire appearance is a lie. Even their personality is often a lie, pretending to be into the same things that you are, and playing the part of the female chameleon. Number 3, here's the difference between high school boys versus high school girls, and guys and gals after high school. No wonder high school girls date older guys in college, because it's a perfect looks match. Then again, I'm not so sure about that because there's no way that muscle mom is in high school. Also, between the skinny guy and the fat girl, being skinny is a better starting point, because it's hard to come back from being fat. Up next was Stanley Kubrick trying to tell us something by dressing up this character from The Shining in an Apollo 11 sweater. Some people believe that Kubrick was hired to film the moon landings on a soundstage, because America never went there. I think America did go, it's just that it was such an amazing feat and looked like magic in a time without modern computers and technology. Also, the fact that we haven't been back makes it sort of unbelievable. But that's all about to change in the next 5 to 10 years. Number 5, Chris asks, what white men are so angry about? It's because many white countries are turning into third world hellholes after importing people from the third world, and then we're being gaslit that we're the problem. Looks like the tide is turning against third world immigration because white men with money are leaving the West and heading to the actual third world, where there's a cheaper cost of living. And as they do that in great enough numbers, there won't be any tax money left to run the welfare state. Moving on, what will Barack Obama be remembered for besides marrying Big Mike? The beginning of the decline of America, perhaps, as he oversaw the mainstreamification of woke culture. Maybe he's the first anti-American president, and that would be fitting seeing that there's a good chance he wasn't even born in America. He also dropped more bombs than any president since WW2, and he won the Nobel Peace Prize for it. Number 7, people are asking, how do we remove the woke mind virus from our universities? According to Yuri Bezmenov, once the virus infects a mind, it's almost impossible to stop it. The only hope I see is that men are deciding not to go to college, and that means they won't be exposed to it. So in response to that, the virus has started spreading into grade schools. So then kids were homeschooled until it started taking over lamestream media too to spread that way. The only way to stop it is by not letting your kids get exposed to it. Up next, here are the US states with the highest shares of single mothers. What the hell is happening in Louisiana and Mississippi? A lot of sex, apparently. But it probably has a lot to do with black mothers only having a marriage rate of 23%. And 39% of the Mississippi population is black, and 34% is black in Louisiana. Those are the 2 states with the largest black populations. Does correlation equal causation? But if someone made a graph of single mothers by race, then everyone would say it's racist. Number 9, behind every angry woman is a man with no idea where he went wrong. This woman looks pissed off because her partner can't read her mind. Most likely this man doesn't even know if he did anything wrong because she won't tell him that she's upset about. It's usually all an elaborate shit test to ensure that he's still emotionally bonded with her. Women get angry if you ask them to logically explain what you did wrong, so you don't do it again. Moving on, Gen X is the only printer generation. We had to help our parents as well as kids use the printer. Plus we also had to deal with the horror that was the dot matrix printer. It's not just printers. We had no choice but to be the most self-sufficient generation ever. And the worst part is, even if we don't know how to do something, everyone expects us to know how to do it. When we tell them that we don't, they say that we're lying, and that we're selfish and that we don't want to help them. We can't convince them otherwise. Number 11 is the Trump effect, where Haitian migrants are self-deporting from Springfield, Ohio. But I'm sure it's not Trump and that they just ran out of cats and dogs to eat. They're probably on their way up to Canada as we speak because their free ride in America is about to end. Too bad for them, even Trudeau won't let them in. If you live in Springfield and still have an indoor pet, be careful that they don't take it as a road trip snack. If they come to Canada, maybe they can eat all the trash pandas up here. Up next, Flora says that men will get fired, divorced, be in debt, and the only thing he'll say is I'll figure it out. Yes, because that's exactly what we do. Women are probably shocked that the average man has to work out his own problems, because no one will come to his rescue. Women, on the other hand, have family, friends, and fuckboys to come and help them get out of trouble when they're younger. Eventually, no one comes to the rescue and they end up becoming ignored cat ladies. Number 13, for the first 3 weeks after Trump was elected, Musk and him were inseparable. You'd think that Musk is technically the president of the United States. But since he was born in South Africa, not America, he can't be president. Then again, that probably didn't stop Barack Obama from entering the Oval Office where Big Mike entered him. Also, Musk won't have much power if J.D. Vance has something to say about it. Moving on is Camille Pally, and she says that if civilization had been left in the hands of females, that we would still be living in grass huts. She's not wrong. Native American soy societies were matriarchal, and they lived in teepees. The vast majority of native males chose to live in fixed structures and practice agriculture because it was easier as a way of life, and they didn't have to do what their matriarchy demanded of them. The world's first farmers started the process of tearing down the matriarchy and began civilization. And the men building the first lumber bots and artificial wombs will finish their work dismantling the matriarchy once and for all. Number 15, imagine you go on a date and your girl pulls up like this. What would you do? I say run into the woods and hide if you can. If you can't get away, it looks like she's going to be taking you to the Waffle House. The better question to ask is, what do you do if your date pulls up in a killdozer? Sean says that the zoning department finally came into its senses and that he no longer needs it. Up next, what do you call this? To me, it looks like diabetes or congestive heart failure. Someone else calls it the week before payday freezer special. Whatever you call it, it looks like the dinosaurs are having a great time. For me, this is heaven on a plate and an amazing cheat day for my everyday keto diet. Eating something like this would have killed me a few years ago. And today I can eat this and I'm sure I'll feel a little bit disgusted, but I'll recover quickly. Number 17, this woman accidentally threw away her boyfriend's 569 million pound Bitcoin fortune. But it wasn't her fault. Of course it's not. She's a woman and taking accountability will kill her. She hopes that he finds it because it'll finally shut him up. In the next article, she says she's going to leave him because he's broke. A woman wrecks a man's life and uses it for attention. She lost his $1 billion in Bitcoin and he's still with her. This is a super simp right here. Moving on, gays and Jews are no longer safe in Berlin, according to this female police chief. Is that because the female cops aren't as good as the male ones enforcing the law, as well as possibly mass migration of Mohammedans into the country? It's ironic, though, that it looks like Muslims are going to finish the work of Mr. Mustache in Germany. Talk about the sheep inviting the wolf to dinner. I think I'll bring out the world's smallest violin for this one. Number 19, here's what happens when women discover that olive oil mimics the effects of Ozempic. They start sipping it with a straw. But olive oil is one of the staple foods in the blue zones, where people live the longest, and yet this is making fun of it. It's anti-inflammatory and helps me get enough calories on my keto diet. It's ironic, the more fat you eat, the less fat you are. Just don't use olive oil for high heat cooking. Up next, the left can meme. They don't understand modern agriculture and think that Trump voters will freak out because everything will get more expensive because there's no illegal migrants around to do all the yard work and housekeeping. People on the right mostly live in rural areas and are more likely to know how to work with their hands. The left also doesn't seem to see illegals as people, but more as slaves. It's leftoids in cities that have never mowed grass that'll suffer the most. Number 21, 19 black families buy over 90 acres of land in Georgia to create a safe city for black people. Now they just need to buy some white people to work the land. Just kidding. But I wonder though, will this city eventually be safe or will it become more like Detroit? But just think of how racist it would be if white people got together to form white-only cities. They aren't building a city. It's a village. Even if it succeeds, the government will probably end up shutting it down. Moving on, Walmart is rolling back DEI policies, and it's a growing trend. Looks like DEI might be dying. Walmart is also one of Trump's biggest donors, so it looks like the winds of change are finally blowing in the right direction. No pun intended. DEI is just racism towards white people, and it's almost as if there's a war on whitey out there, and people are not only tired of it, but companies are beginning to realize that their business will fail if they don't have whites and East Asians running them. Number 23, is it my imagination, or does it look like Brie Larson is transitioning into Joseph Gordon-Levitt? Next thing you know, she'll be sporting a third leg and some stubble. She's only 35 and looks like she's 45 with that ridiculous haircut. In 5 years, I'm calling it, she's going to be coming out as a lesbian. She's already destroyed what should have easily been a decades-long A-list career. While making the Marvel films, her co-stars found her absolutely insufferable. And they were woke leftists too. So that should tell you just how bad she is. They should also look alike because after all they played family in Don Juan. Up next, I don't know about you, but there sure is something strange about this elf. Do you see what I see? I keep having that line from that Christmas song repeating in my head. It looks like the dick in that box got loose. If you think that's bad, then it looks like this guy has green gonorrhea coming out of his member, in the palm tree. Get that penicillin out quick. I wish I had a homeowners association full of Karens to piss off with this one. Number 25 and the last one, this woman says she fell in love with his personality. Well, it definitely wasn't his muscles or masculinity. I've got a hunch his personality is at least 6 or 7 figures. So please let me see that bank account. But I'm being way too harsh. He also probably fell in love with her for her mind. I still think the fellow on the right is actually a she on testosterone. And it's just not working very well. So that's it for another Memes of the Week. Please give this video a like to push it up in the algorithm and so new viewers can find it. If you enjoy this series and want me to keep making it, then donate at the PayPal and Subscribe Star links below. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, and cheers.